Hi guys, welcome back. So we've got a huge change to the national eligibility rules. Now, as an overview, this comes into effect very soon, January 2022. So in time for the Six Nations and all the competitions thereafter, of course, including the World Cup in 2023. So this will change quite a lot. We should have quite a few different players coming in to represent countries. A player can represent a different country after a period of 3 years of kind of being stood down, of not being selected for their national team that they've originally represented. Now, does that mean just representing them on the pitch? Does it mean training? I don't know. I imagine it just means appearances, but we'll find out the detail. Now, a large majority approved this from World Rugby, but I do believe it was just over the amount that was needed to pass it. So it wasn't, a foregone thing, it wasn't a sure thing. And a player can only switch once, so they can't switch back again or switch to a second nation. And the pressure's been mounting for this for a while. The campaign's been going, so it was possible it was going to happen, and it's happened quite quickly, and it's going to come into effect, like I said, very quickly from the beginning of next year. So the rationale, why do they want this to happen? Well, the idea is to benefit the smaller nations, or certainly some small nations. The Pacific Islands are obviously the main obvious choice there. It allows players to return to the country of their ancestors, to quote World Rugby. So a big example is of course Charles Piutau from New Zealand, who could go back and represent Tonga in internationals and the World Cup. Now, it should, in theory, allow more of the best players in the world to play international rugby, especially in the showpiece events like the World Cup. And if you have better players, you should have a better event, more interest, more revenue. The idea is it grows the game. Now, it should boost these small, poorer nations who produce a lot of the world's best players, but have quite a lot of player drain as they go abroad and get picked up internationally by other nations. Now, will it work for a team like South Africa, who provides a lot of internationals? Well, probably not, because if they're good enough to represent South Africa, they're unlikely not to be selected for 3 years by a different nation. So I don't think it'll affect teams like that who actually provide lots of players, but they probably won't get them back. So it is probably only for the smaller teams. And it does stop a player getting trapped. So, for example, Samisa Rokondanguni got, I think it's 1 cap for England, didn't get picked again. So they kind of were trapped in that eligibility trap, if you like, and they couldn't get picked for someone else like Fiji. Pacific Islands, they will be much more competitive, I'm pretty sure, from this rule. In international competition, it should be more exciting. We should see more upsets, as you like, but it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Certainly looking forward to those stronger Pacific nations. But of course, with anything, there are pitfalls. It's going to be open to abuse for sure. And the best you can hope for is a net gain. So there's definitely going to be abuse. It's always going to be a blunt instrument, because it has to be the same rule for everyone. So you've got this blunt instrument for quite a complex problem. So, like I said, the best you can hope for is a net positive outcome. So let me know if you think that is going to be the case. And maybe it does penalise smaller nations who actually manage to retain internationally their homegrown players, like Georgia, for example. So they probably wouldn't be too happy with it. Certainly, certain delegates did vote against this. Now, also, you might get these transfer players, if you like, blocking the progress of young internal players. That's another argument as well. And it could even work in reverse, because if a player is comfortable knowing that they could always switch back, they actually might be more inclined to go and pursue an international career with a bigger nation, with that kind of safety net in the back of their minds. Now, my summary of this situation is time will tell. I really do hope it's a net positive. I think it will, but we won't really know till it's been running for a while. And also, is this sort of something you can turn back? I don't know. It could just be, the way forward from now on, but we'll see how it goes. But, in the modern world, nationality is a lot more fluid for sure. And I think it is possible to have national pride for more than one country, 2 or 3. I think that is very common. And also, I think it's not productive to judge someone, judge their nationality or their amount of national pride based on their physical appearance or how their name sounds or anything like that. I don't think it's fair either. But I think it is reasonable to expect a couple of things. One, when they cross that white line onto the pitch, the player is 100% committed, and we see the sort of performances we get from that sort of commitment. For example, when France played New Zealand the other day, that was impressive. And I think it is also reasonable to accept a degree of national affinity, where they actually feel, some sort of affinity to the nation they're representing. Now, obviously, that's a problem area. You can't measure that. And the danger is you get players who just want to play international rugby and don't really care too much about the country they're representing. But like I said, it's going to happen, but hopefully the majority will be doing it for the right reasons. We will see. So definite danger of abuse. What do you guys think? Is it a net positive? It's certainly a massive announcement. Pop your comments below. Pop the players you think that may well switch below as well. And also, on another note, do vote for my alternative player of the year, men's player of the year. I'll put the link up above and also down below for the vote. I think I'll announce that result along with the actual result. I think they come in around the 8th to the 10th. So there's been hundreds of votes already. I had a quick look at the results so far and it's very interesting. So do get involved in that. Anyway, guys, I will catch you next time.